Capricorn. Hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to do a reading to check in on what were the key lessons that you learned in 2022 when it came to your love life. What was the universe really trying to explain to you? What were the experiences that you had to go through to come to a certain conclusion or to arrive at your own inner truth when it comes to love? So we'll pull out some cards first by taking a look at what were the overall energies when it comes to love for the year 2022. I'll pull out 3 cards. While I do that, if this video resonates with you, please do hit the like button and feel free to subscribe to my channel. That way you can be notified when I upload new content. All right, Capricorn, let's see how 2022 has gone for you when it comes to love. Okay, so the first card I've got is the Hermit. Then I'm seeing the 2 of Pentacles, and then I'm seeing the 4 of Wands. Interesting. So right off the bat, the first message that I'm getting is that, I think this has been a year which has made you go inside, which has inspired you to spend some time with yourself to really get clear on a big decision that you were up against this year. And for a lot of you, I feel that this decision had something to do with, taking your relationship to the next level with the 4 of Wands. This could be marriage for some of you. This could be an engagement for some of you, or if you've, been dating somebody, maybe it was a decision to move in with someone or ask someone to move in with you. So I think that you spent the better part of this year really trying to understand, because like the Hermit, really trying to see the light of the situation and really trying to understand what is your truth. What do you truly want to do about the situation? Do you want to move in with this person? Do you want to pop the question? Do you want to be married to the person on your mind? I do think that you perhaps had a specific person on your mind for some of you. I think for some others, maybe you spent a lot of time this year just being single because you wanted to, and that was a very intentional decision to, really take a stock check of your life and see what kind of love do you want to manifest. You wanted to spend time with yourself. You wanted to go inwards. So that's for some of you. And I think because you were still trying to take a decision on whether relationships are for you or not in 2022. Perhaps this has to do with some past disappointments in love, or some of you really chose to remain single because you wanted to really go inside and explore what kind of relationship do you want to manifest, what kind of partner do you want to manifest. While some others of you, I think, took a time out, maybe there was a bit of a separation from someone because you had a big decision to contemplate on, and most likely I think the decision was something really big, like, should I be married to this person? Should I say yes if somebody proposed to you? So that's what I'm seeing overall for love. And I think perhaps you've also been thinking a lot about your home life, your security, your long-term stability. That's also another theme that's coming out. Let's see what went well for you when it comes to the overall emotion of love in 2022. 3 cards, please. We've got the Ace of Swords, so definitely clarity. I think that's linked to the Hermit card that we saw earlier. Let's see what else. The 3 of Wands, okay, and the 6 of Swords. Really interesting. So I think for some of you, what went well was that you learned how to speak your own truth when it came to relationships, when it came to love. What works for you, what doesn't. Maybe some of you were in a situation that perhaps felt like you were giving more than what you were receiving, or while it was going fine, there was something holding you back from really taking the relationship to the next level. And I think you waited on this decision because I'm seeing this 3 of Wands, which typically is a card of waiting for ships to come in. And in this circumstance, ships kind of stand for waiting for that clarity to come in, waiting for that aha moment to strike, waiting for that light bulb moment. And I think you were waiting to get to a part of your life that felt a lot more calmer. So if you've been in like stormy waters, or relationships have felt choppy and have felt very destructive perhaps, I think what went well was that you didn't jump into decisions. You took your time, you took a step back, you really wanted to evaluate and think first whether where you're going makes sense for you or not. And there was a knowing that you are in a bit of a transition phase. Like you could see the calmer shore on the other end of this period of contemplation, which is really nice, which kept inspiring you to stay true to what you believe in. So I think you really held your stance on something here, Capricorn. I don't think other people were able to sway you into a decision either which way. I think you held your own this year, which is really good to see. I think more people should do that, right? Because ultimately, this is your life, and nobody should be able to tell you, oh, it's too soon to move in, or why have you guys been sitting on it? You should be living together by now, or you should be engaged by now, or you should be married by now. Honestly, I think people just come in and give you random advice when it comes to relationships. The best thing you can do is just listen to other people's perspective. I'm not saying that people don't mean well. Of course, your near and dear ones will always try and give you the best advice, but they'll always come from their own perspective. So bear that in mind, and ultimately, you should always take a decision from your own center, your own core, what feels right to you. And I think you did a lot of that this year, which is great, Let's see what perhaps seemed challenging this year when it comes to love. So what didn't go as well, or what just felt a bit challenging? I'm seeing the King of Pentacles, which is your card. So this is Earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. But for me, the King of Pentacles is pretty much the Capricorn card. So let's see what else before I start to give you the messages. Four of Pentacles and the Two of Wands. I think perhaps this year, when you went within, right, with the Hermit energy that we saw earlier, when you started to get clear with your own truth with the Ace of Swords, maybe this is for some of you, you came to realize that you were still holding on to some past disappointments, or you kept thinking about the past, or maybe something that wasn't working in this relationship. Hence, that hindered you from really moving forward and thinking about long-term stability with a particular person. Because King of Pentacles in the context of a relationship spread, it's actually a really beautiful card. It's a card of, building, investing for the future, taking very methodical steps right now in order to, prepare for a long-term stable connection. But this is an area that did not go as well for you in 2022, because I think you still kept holding on to what could go wrong or what has gone wrong in the past, perhaps in the same connection or with other connections. And that made you kind of hold on and hold back a little bit on your energies and love, because you perhaps took too long to take a decision. I'm getting that for some of you, that maybe you just sat on the decision for a bit too long with this Two of Wands. For some of you, it could be that the person that you were dealing with this year was at a distance, or there was a lot of emotional distance that had come about in this connection. That could also be the case for some of you. So those were some of the themes that were a bit challenging this year, and they didn't go as planned, or they didn't go as well as you were hoping for them to go. So summarizing all of this then, the key themes that we've seen so far are that some of you really took the time to go within this year, really meditate on your own truth, get clear on what is it that's working for you, what is it that's not working for you. Things that perhaps were challenging was that you couldn't really take the next step in long-term stability in a certain connection, in a certain partnership, because there was some deep disappointment or something that happened in the past that you kept holding on to. Therefore, we go through all of these lessons because the universe wants us to, I've seen the Sun card just pop out of the deck here. So, I'm going to put it back because I still haven't asked the question to the cards, but that is definitely an indication that something has come to light this year, or your own source of happiness has come to light this year. What are the key lessons that Capricorn has learned when it comes to love in 2022? So we've seen the Queen of Wands fall out. This is a fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This could be a significant person in your life this year that, you finally learned what was the purpose of them coming into your life. Or perhaps you learned how to kind of invest in your own self. Maybe you leveled up in terms of your self-improvement, the way you look. Maybe you started paying a lot of attention to fitness. You really started looking after yourself this year, because the first lesson here is that, you were bold and you took bold steps towards your own happiness. Or it could mean for some group, some of you who are watching, there was an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius person, and you learned a significant lesson about why this person came into your life, what this person taught you about love, about relationships, about partnerships. And, hopefully those lessons will remain so that we don't have to go through the same experiences again and again, right? Let's see, what else did you learn in 2022 when it comes to love? Seven of Cups. So you learned how to evaluate through your options. Some of you perhaps had options in love this year, and which got you a little bit confused. Or you learned that something that felt really stable was actually not that stable. So it was a bit of an illusion that you were living in 2022 when it comes to your love life. And with that Ace of Swords, when we asked what went well, all those illusions were put to a side and clarity came out. So that's really powerful, because ultimately, we can't just live in this la la land or be daydreaming about love. And there could be lots of options, or there could be people who are offering something to us, but we need to know whatever they are offering, that's something. Is it what we are looking for? Or is it something that we've already been through as an experience and therefore it's time for us to move on? Or is it something that we've already experienced in the past and therefore we've already learned that lesson from that cycle and we don't need to go through it again? So that's another lesson that you learned in 2022. What else? Queen of Cups. I think you really looked after your heart this year, or you really were thinking a lot about matters of the heart in 2022. I think this was a big year for love in terms of asking yourself the big questions. And I think rather than always giving to other people, if maybe your lived experience does not sort of speak to this, but I think what the universe wanted you to know was that look after your own heart. So how she's holding on to that cup, I feel this year taught you that rather than always focusing on what the other person wants or what other people around you want, to really go within and ask yourself, what is it that you want? And are you ready for that? And if you're not ready, then what is the reasoning there? What are the lessons or what are the experiences that you still need to go through so that you can come to a stage where this feels comfortable and you can sort of dive into it? Yeah, so those are the big themes that I'm seeing. Let's see from this deck if there's any additional messages that spirit guides have for you in terms of love. I will be recording another video which will be about what to look forward to when it comes to love in 2023. So do stay tuned because I will be posting that soon in the next week or so. Let's see, any final messages for Capricorn? Yeah, this Eight of Swords, very telling, I think, because this year, if I can summarize the two key energies that have been a big part of your life in 2022 have been like emotions and thoughts, because we're seeing a lot of swords and we're seeing a lot of cups. And I think this last message is asking you to see, are there any areas where you are keeping yourself trapped? Because I think you've made a lot of progress in getting clear and figuring out what was an illusion, what was real, a particular person. You figured out why that person featured in your life, what did they come here to teach you. But I think there's still some areas where you yourself are keeping yourself trapped, and you need to ask yourself and just go a little bit further on this hermit energy. What's holding you back? What are your big fears when it comes to love? It's a good time because, it's almost end of the year and a brand new year is beginning soon. So it's just to make sure and see, where perhaps you yourself are holding yourself back. Like, what are your fears? Because Eight of Swords typically is an energy where we have created these mental demons, but reality might not reflect that. So it's just a little reminder for you that step away from the illusion, step away from the confusion, and get clear on, you've already done a lot of work, but if there's anything else that keeps you trapped, any fears, any limiting beliefs about love, it's time for that to be released and it's time for that to be healed. So that's your reading, Capricorn, in terms of lessons learned in love in 2022. If this video resonated with you, please do hit the like button for me and feel free to subscribe to my channel. Take care, Capricorn.